Today, we're going to talk to pop reports once again. There's a pretty exciting update from Gemrate, a bit of a work in progress from them that I think, like I said, should excite each and every one of you because it looks like it's going to do a huge step in the right direction for transparency around pop reports and trying to, move away from some of this stuff that you see happen where people try and play certain numbers against each other. Get to my thoughts on that in a sec. Just quickly, I did a live stream earlier today, about 24 hours before you're seeing this video with a mate of mine, Russ_Westbrook cards. Pop reports were talked to within that, as were serial numbered cards. And I think it was a really good discussion for you guys to listen into because we highlight that, serial numbered cards are probably not as rare as what you think they are. And there's some things there that we need to be keeping front of mind as collectors and more importantly, as people that want to invest in these kinds of things that will help you understand, okay, where should my money be placed long term, or what are some things that I need to keep front of mind, like I said. So please do check it out. We also jumped into pop reports as well. And one of the things I quickly talked to was this update that was shared with me a bit earlier in the day. And that is, Gemrate basically working towards a universal pop report. This is a bit of a sneak peek that they've put out there that I think is really, really cool. And it essentially combines all the pop reports together to give you a better understanding as a potential buyer, as an owner, when it comes to buying into something that you actually want. And you can sort of see over here, it sort of starts with the fact that it has the breakdown of the PSA pop report for this one card in question, being a Zion rookie card, Silver Prism, base Prism. But then it goes on to do some really interesting things when it comes to the rest of the pop reports, i.e. what's in the Beckett population, what's in the CSG population, and then also SGC, and then along with PSA, obviously. So you can see it does a bit of a breakdown as to, okay, where do most of these cards sit? And for the Zion, it's no real surprise. It probably shouldn't be a surprise for many modern cards, but most are with PSA, with then Beckett and SGC making up, the rest, CSG being a tiny minority. But it gives you a breakdown of, okay, well, how many are graded mint across all the graders? What's the total population graded? How many are higher than mint grade? And then basically how many have got gem rates across all the graders as well. There's a bit more of a breakdown showing the number of grades out at each of the manufacturers, each of the graders, I should say. PSA head and shoulders above everyone else. And then also shows which grader has the best gem rate, BGS leading from the front. CSG is actually quite high, surprisingly, considering they've only graded 16, but it's a very small population. PSA quite low. That's no surprise given what we do know about PSA in terms of their lack of consistency and approach in recent months. It very much looks like they're doing a lot less gem grades than they have in the past. We then have the total mint grades by grader as a whole number as opposed to just a percentage. And then what I think is really, really cool is the distribution of grades at each of the third-party graders, because it gives you a better understanding as to, okay, well, where do things sit? And as you can see here, you're getting the full breakdown of the population. There's some really low ones here as well. But it basically just gives you some really good insights as to what does it look like across all the graders. Now, the reason why I think this is really important and goes to some of the things we've talked to in the past is when people go ahead and sell a card, as we did talk to in this live stream today, they'll say, oh, it's a pop one, or there's none higher, or there's 3 higher, but they're not factoring in what's out at other graders, right? When they list a PSA card saying pop one, well, what's in the BGS report? What's in the SGC report? What's in the CSG report? And yes, every grader does things differently, but as a buyer, as an investor, you need to be across what the heck is out there, because if you're just looking at PSA graded cards, then you're sort of letting yourself down because, number one, there might be far more in BGS slabs, meaning your thing is not actually as rare as what you think, or maybe there's less in other graders, or maybe it gives you a bit more insight as to which graders should be the ones to trust, right? Which graders should I be looking at? And I think the main point here is what we talked to today in the live stream, and that is, well, if I'm going to buy a card that is a pop 1 PSA 9, well, am I going to pay top dollar for that when there's actually 3 in a PSA 10, let alone 5 or 6 in a BGS 9.5 or actually a BGS black label? Like, those are the things you need to be looking at, and having a universal pop report is something that this hobby desperately needs, because unfortunately, so many people, when they're going to buy the cards, they literally just look at the one grader they're looking at, or they just go off what the eBay title says or what the eBay description says, rather than saying, well, if I'm going to buy this card, I'm going to factor in everything together. And I think that's what the universal pop report is there to do. And that's something that I've been calling for a long bloody time now, maybe well over 5 years, I want to say. So I'm curious to see what people are going to say about it, how people actually go ahead and use it. as we did talk to today in the live stream, it's one of those things where, people know it's there and people know they have the ability to check all the pop reports like manually, but nobody really wants to do it, right? They know that if they can put pop 1 in their title, they're going to sell it quicker, or they want to basically plead ignorance and not, know about it because they know they can sell a card for more money by not paying attention to everything else. And it's just a really weird thing that the hobby does. And it goes to the serial number discussion that we also had in that same live stream, because people just do funny things when it comes to, trying to maximize value. And I just think a universal pop report is something that's much needed. And I really hope we do start seeing people use it. So I'm really keen to get your thoughts on this one. This is just a quick video to put out there today because I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm really keen, like I said, to get your thoughts on it and see where we can go from there. See if this is a good step in the right direction. If Gemrate can come out and basically make it mainstream for everybody to use and make it so it works with every single card, integrates with every single pop report out there. Because I just find it funny, like I said, where you've got people sort of ignoring these pop reports and playing them against each other when really they shouldn't be played against each other. They should be looked at in aggregation, because you're buying a card, right? If you want to buy a card for the long term, you need to know what's out there. And the easiest way to know what's out there is look at all the pop reports, and you ignoring one over the other is just ridiculous to me. So please share your thoughts on this down in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.